Welcome, everyone. As we see accounts and people start to flood in, we'll go ahead and get a slow start going here as we have a few more people, I'm sure, still making their way in. But wanted to thank everyone for taking some time out of their day to join us and learn a little bit more about our new presentations platform here at Order My Gear. We'll go ahead and dive in and get started. Meet your host. My name is John Brown. I'm on our sales team here as a senior account executive at Order My Gear. I've been working with the team for over 5.5 years now. I'm really excited to get presentations in front of y'all. Here's a little bit of an agenda of what we're covering today. So, of course, why presentations matter, why they're important, and why we suggest you taking a look at them. Some common sales challenges, some real world presentation use cases. So we'll actually go through 5 of our 8 use cases that are in our ebook. That way you'll have a chance to download that full ebook there after our live demo to learn more about those additional use cases, as well as some details for the 5 that we'll cover today. And at the end, we'll have a Q&A session as well. So as you guys are, in our webinar today, as questions come up, please don't hesitate to send those questions in. Our team will be taking a look at those questions, answering some of those common questions towards the end of our webinar, of our time together today. So please feel free to enter those questions in as they come up in your mind. So why presentations matter now more than ever. So before we start diving into the use cases, we want to talk about why this matters. So as we all know, in the branded merchandise industry, everything's still super relationship driven. So we found that over half of the total sales in the branded merchandise industry will happen through sales reps. But that being said, we've seen a change in the buyers. So as a younger generation are finding themselves as buyers in these roles, we've seen that there's been some changes that we wanted to share with y'all, and some of those changes have to do with them wanting more choices. They want to compare products against each other for price, for quality. They want to see their logo on these products before making a decision and moving forward with anything. And they aren't only taking the pricing as the only consideration for which products they'll choose, but it's also the entire experience of how they're receiving those different options. So they're comparing not only the products that you provide, but also the experience that you share with them throughout the sales process as well. Then another big important thing with presentations is it's an easy way to get fast feedback. So you're able to get feedback, likes, dislikes, comments, questions on individual items within a presentation. That way you're able to take that information and quickly turn those into stores or orders for your clients as well. So it's something to make sure that the sale keeps progressing forward and it doesn't stall out or get stagnant along the way. So some of the issues with some of the traditional product pitching that I'm sure a lot of us still do today, whether that be sending over, product links to a catalog or, a PDF, maybe sending over a spreadsheet with a bunch of different links for them to click into and provide feedback for. While all that is well and good, what we find or what we have found is that a lot of times that leads to a lot of emails going back and forth or not continued conversation. So it's kind of disjointed where you're trying to find your way back through a bunch of different email chains or through notes that you may have taken in an in-person meeting versus the way that you now have the ability to do through our presentations tool, what we're calling here the modern way, where you're able to send them over one presentation. You're able to get that product feedback and have it all stored in one location. You can see who liked which products, who disliked which products, what comments, concerns, or questions that they might have on those products, for you to be able to quickly make those decisions for what products they want to move forward with, and then progress them along your sales funnel. So now that we have the general idea of presentations, we'll go ahead and we'll dive into some use cases. So use case number one, a corporate swag program. So maybe this is a new employee, welcome basket or welcome kit. Maybe there's a trade show coming up and they're looking for giveaways or some gifts to give to clients. Whatever it might be, A lot of times what we're seeing is, in the corporate world, they want options. They want to be able to see a good, better, best option for what products they might want to move forward with. So instead of sending, 10 separate links for each product, what you're able to do is you're able to create a presentation that includes apparel. It includes drinkware, tech products, bags, all of their merchandising options in one place. So that way, whoever that main point of contact is, who's deciding what products they would want to move forward with, is able to provide that feedback directly in that presentation for you. As you're keeping those presentations moving forward, you're able to use that feedback to determine what they might want involved in their store or in a quote or even in an order. So it's just a way to be able to make sure that you get all of that feedback in a consolidated place. We also recommend not overwhelming them too much with too many products. We want to make sure that you don't slow down that sales process by giving them so many products that take them too much time to kind of click through. A next use case is team and group apparel. So whether you're working with, a high school booster club or a sports team, organization, local school district, whatever it might be, as you're working on these orders, we have found that more times than not, there are a lot of people who are involved in that decision. So now you're balancing, multiple decision makers, multiple stakeholders across these decisions. You have the coaches, the ADs, the booster club. Maybe you have a team parent who all want to make sure that their opinion's heard. Through presentations, through that one link, you can send it out to all of those different stakeholders. They can all provide their own feedback. They can like the products that they would want to see themselves wearing and dislike the products that they don't think are quite a fit for the goal of that project. It's a way to make sure that you keep everyone's feedback consolidated in one place instead of, like we talked about before, having all of this be done over emails or even in an in-person meeting. You're hoping that the notes you're taking are 100% accurate and that you can read them still after the meeting, after you jotted down those notes, versus a presentation where you're able to reference back to those whenever you need to. You can see which user, which stakeholder is leaving those different comments and is liking those different products. So it's a way for you to make sure that you get all that feedback in one place in order for you to once again not have a project or order be stalled out and keep things progressing in the right direction. Our next use case is for event merchandise. So this could be an upcoming conference, or maybe it's a company outing, a big event for a charity that you work with. What you're able to do here is you're able to have a presentation that has all of the products that would be necessary for that event. So, for example, if we're working with a company who has an upcoming trade show, they might need some giveaways to, draw attraction to their booth. They might have some premium gifts that they would want to share with some top clients at the show, and they might even want some apparel for the staff to be able to wear and have a united front at that trade show. So our recommendation would be, instead of having a different presentation for each of those different sections of the event, to have one presentation for the entire event and break them up into different categories. Why that'll work is because it'll expand, your scope of work for your client. So that way they don't only view you as, the apparel company, or they don't only view you as the giveaway company. Instead, if you have all of that within one presentation, then your client can see that full scope of work that you're willing to do, and they'd be able to really envision their event coming together, with all of the branded merchandise that you'd be providing. Use case number 4 is some proactive customer outreach. So we all have those clients that, submit the same order once a year, or maybe it's quarterly, monthly, whatever it might be. And they kind of view us as, you're the person I go to for t-shirts. Or maybe you're the person, like I said earlier, that I go to for giveaways. A way to be able to break out of that mold and make sure that you're, delivering as much as you can for your clients is through some of this proactive customer outreach. So that way you can share with them different ideas, of products that you have found success with other customers. And you can reach out to them proactively instead of just reactively whenever they have a need. For example, it's end of June now, so maybe there's a summer special of products, or maybe there's a certain selection of products that are, you're dignifying, classifying as summer products. So at the start of summer, you'd be able to send all of your prospect or all of your customers a branded presentation with those, 3, 5, 10 products, just to kind of help, get those wheels turning in their head. That way you can kind of be viewed as a thought leader with them instead of just someone who accepts orders and runs with them. They'd be able to, view you as a true partner in whatever project they might have coming up. And once again, work proactively instead of just reactively. And our fifth and final use case that we'll be going over today is for sales prospecting. So a similar idea that we just talked about there with, working with current clients, but this would be a way to find new clients as well. It's pretty simple to be able to set up different templates within the platform. That way you'd be able to copy those templates over. For example, if you do work with schools or hospitals or whatever type of organization it might be, you can have a template built for that type of organization. You'd then be able to copy that over, throw that new company's logo on it. That way, that new company, whether it be someone that you've had a couple of conversations with, or maybe you even haven't even talked to them yet, you just want to send them something that's built specifically for them. This presentation tool would allow you to do that and would allow you to do it without having to spend too much time on it or any additional cost other than having access to the platform. So like I said earlier, we do have an ebook that we will give you guys the opportunity to download here in a few minutes. That ebook will cover those 5 use cases that we just went over in a little bit more detail. And it'll also include these 3 additional use cases as well, being seasonal merch programs, customer idea boards, and pitching online stores. So we'll have a QR code here for y'all in a couple of minutes for you guys to be able to scan and get those sent directly to you. Before then, we'll go ahead and we'll hop into a live demo and we'll show you guys the presentation platform and how it might work for you. So as we've flipped over, this is our presentation platform. It's a place that, like we've talked about, you're able to build out presentations for your clients and get the feedback on specific products directly from your client as well. So within your presentation list, it would show you all of your presentations that you have within your account. You can set up different views for different sales reps, for different clients, maybe even based on the status of that presentation. You can set up whatever views you would need to make sure that you're looking at the presentations that make the most sense for you in that moment. Once you get started with this system, you're able to upload a list of your clients directly into it, along with all of their points of contact. So that way you can keep things saved based on client, and you can also send out emails directly to that point of contact through the system as well. When you're adding products into the presentation, the easiest way to add products is through our OneSource integration. So this is the same product database that powers our online stores. For those of you who are clients of us for our online stores, this is also the same database that powers Distributor Central. So all of these products are in promo standards. That way, whenever a change is made to the product data from the supplier side of things, they'll be able to push that change out into all of our platforms as well. So that way, this is live and up-to-date data when you're adding via OneSource. If there's ever a product that you want to add that's outside of that database, no problem at all. You can just add a new custom item here. You'd be able to plug in all of that information, and then you could even pull that custom item for future presentations as well if you'd like. If we are adding via OneSource, it's pretty straightforward. In the search bar here, you can search for whatever product it is that you're looking for. For example, a polo. It'll show us a bunch of different polo options here from a bunch of different suppliers. So if you want to be a little bit more specific with it, we can filter this down to Sanmar polos, for example. And now we're only going to have polos that are coming from that specific supplier. You click add to whichever ones you would want to add on into the system. And then you can also add via SKU number as well. So if you already know the product that you want to add, you'd be able to plug in that SKU number here, have that product populate for you to add directly. We'll review these items, make sure they're all good to go, then we'll add them in. When you first add those items into the presentation, they'll live at the bottom of the presentation. You can always move these around, reassign them to different categories to make sure that you're grouping like products together if you'd like. You can also jump in and edit the product itself. So for example, if you don't want your end user to know that this is an LOG 105, you'd be able to delete that SKU number out of there. So that way all they see is the OGO Glam Polo. Or you could just delete it down and have it only say Polo if you wanted to. Totally up to you guys and how your clients would most like this information. You could edit and change the description as necessary. You can recategorize the product, choose what colors or sizes that you'd want to offer. Then you can even offer different price breaks here for volume discounting as well. So for example, if we come in here and we plug in, pricing breaks at 51 and 101, we'll then drop this down to 25, for example, and 23. Just keep things flat and even. For decoration costs, you can even plug in different decoration matrices from your different decorators. Or if you decorate in-house, you can plug in your own matrices here as well. That way you can select what type of decoration would be being performed on this product for you to then be able to have these variants, however many you need, however many different pricing breaks up top for you to make those different selections and have it be applied directly under your pricing matrix here. We'll go ahead, we'll throw in 40% margins across the board, and we can round however you like to round to make it nice, clean numbers. And that way, when you send out this presentation, all they're going to see is the top row quantity, bottom row sell price, and they won't see any of the meat in the middle that has it, gets the calculation to be what it needs to be. Last piece here is the ability to customize your images that you use. So here are all of the supplier images that they provide us. You can pick and choose those images that you would want to actually use on your presentation. You can use all of them, of course, if you want to use all of them, or you can just use the blanks, whatever makes the most sense. From there, you can also upload your own images. So if you already have mock-ups created, you can upload those as well, or you can generate those mock-ups directly here within the platform by creating virtual. So here you'd be able to just select the image of the logo that you'd like to paste on to that product image. You can then move it around as necessary, rotate it, resize it if needed. But that way they'd be able to see their logo directly on these different products. So once you update this presentation, you add in all those products and get everything looking the way you'd like I mentioned, you can email this presentation directly through the platform to that point of contact. You can have multiple templates saved here. So that way, if it's depending on the order type or presentation type, you'd be able to have different templates for them to choose from. It'll include a link to their presentation that you can preview by clicking this icon here. So here we'll collect their name and their email address, so that way you know who's interacting with the products. You'd be able to brand this presentation with whatever banner image you'd like to make sure it fits your client's branding needs. And then as they scroll, they can start to see these different products. So like I mentioned, you can group products together however you'd like. As the client end user scroll, we'll go ahead and we'll find that polo we just threw on here. They'll see all the information that you deleted. Obviously, they won't see what you deleted, but they'll see whatever it turned into. They'd be able to see, those images, their logo on the product, the different pricing breaks that we talked through as well. They could then like or dislike products. We'll go ahead and keep it thumbs up, say they like this one, and they can leave comments or questions here as well. So those comments might, have questions around, different color options. Or maybe they'll help you start to build out that order. Say that larges, we need 50 of them, XLs, we need 25. Or maybe you're using this to be able to build out a store, and you're using this for them to pick what products they want in their store. So maybe they're saying something like, need in store. Who knows? You can use this comment box however you'd like. Whenever they submit comments, those comments will bounce back into your account here. So there'll be a pop-up notification showing every like, dislike, and comment. You'll also see all the notifications that you missed by clicking on the alarm bell in the top right. And then if you like, you can also turn on notifications at the email level. So that way you can get a ding in your inbox with all of those interactions as well. So that way you're able to, we'll go ahead and refresh this page with the new interactions. You're able to jump in here. You're able to see those products that have likes, those products that have dislikes. You can jump into the comments as well and easily view them at the product level. You can check it off whenever you've completed that, or you can even respond back to them and leave a comment underneath that product as well, directly here in the back end of the platform. That way, like we've talked about, you're able to collect all of this information, all the likes, the dislikes, the comments. You're able to use that information to progress them throughout the sales cycle, whether you're turning that into a quote, an order, or maybe even an online store, to be able to make sure that you're continuing to serve your clients in a quick way and not having anything be bogged down by those emails that are going back and forth and trying to figure out which products they're even talking about, considering you sent them 10 or 12 products already over an email. Instead of doing that, just send it all over in one presentation. That way you can keep everything, all feedback saved nice and easily in one location. Awesome. I'm going to jump back into the presentation now. Great. So one more presentation ideas. So obviously that was a live demo. That was a lot of high level information. There's a lot more info out there that we'd be happy to share with you. But if you're still trying to figure out different use cases that would make sense, then please scan this QR code. This QR code is a link to our presentations use cases ebook. So I know that we already covered 5 of those use cases earlier, but we also went through them pretty quickly. So if I was talking too fast or you want more details and information on those use cases, this ebook will have all of those use cases along with the additional 3 that we didn't cover today as well. So I'm going to keep it here for a second, make sure that everyone has a chance to scan this if they'd like. Awesome. I'm now going to take us to our next page, which is another QR code. So this QR code is a direct link to schedule with our sales team here. So whether that be scheduling a demo with me or one of my colleagues that are other account executives here at Order My Gear, we'd be more than happy to give you a demo that'd be tailored to you. It'd just be a one-on-one demo where we can dive deep into whatever questions you might have or whatever comments you might have as well, to make sure that this would be the right fit for you. I'm going to come right back here in a second, but our next slide is a question slide. So I think I saw a couple questions thrown in there, but Lucy, I know that you're out there. If you could let me know what questions are in the chat, that'd be great.
Yeah, we have a few questions ready to go. Before we dive into those, I do want to reiterate that we have been recording this presentation and that we will be sending you a follow-up email after with a link to the recording. And then also, if you ask a question, we will follow up with you so that way you can chat with somebody one-on-one about your question, whether or not we answer it here in the presentation or not. You will definitely get a follow-up from us. So feel free to keep asking us some questions while we go through the ones that we already have. Okay, one of the first questions we got is how long does it take to create a presentation?
Yeah, that it's going to have to depend on the number of products and what all information that you would want to be included there. What we have found is that it's really quick once you get a hang of it. We have an implementation team as well that'll train you and teach you some best practices as you're getting started. So it's a pretty quick process. Of course, depending on how many products you need in there, but it's once you get a hang of it, you're able to add 5 products in 5 to 10 minutes. So it really call it 2 minutes a product, and that's a safe bet, I'd say.
Okay. Got another question here. We are a print shop, signs, banners, etc. Can we add our core items to this platform and add them to a presentation?
Absolutely. Yeah, you'd be able to add products in as custom items. So if there's products, yeah, to your point that you're producing in-house, you'd be able to add them in as a custom item. What we have found success in is having an entire presentation called custom items like that, or call it whatever you like to call it. That way, whenever you want to add that to a future presentation, you're able to easily pull that from that one templated presentation as well.
Okay. Can I make changes after I've sent a presentation?
Yep, it's a living document or a living presentation. So you can send that presentation out, and then if, for example, you forgot to add the hat that they asked for, then without having to send them a second link, you'd be able to jump right back into that presentation, add that hat or whatever that product might be. That way, the next time they click that link, that presentation will be updated. You wouldn't even need to let them know that you had forgotten in the first place.
Okay. Can you change your logo color from white to black for the mock-up?
At this point, you do not have the ability to do that in the pop-up or in the presentation platform the way that you can do in our pop-up platform. So at this point, you would need to drop in the logo of the correct color into that image for that mock-up to look the way that you'd like it to look.
Do customers need to log in to review a presentation?
They don't need to log in necessarily. We're just collecting their name and email address there when they first click in. So it's not like they have a username and password. We're just collecting who it is, so that way you know who's interacting with the presentation.
Okay. What type of customers respond best to presentations?
We have found most, if not all, customer profiles responding in a good way to these presentations. That being said, there's of course some of the more older school clientele that may not be as computer savvy. But that being said, it's not like it takes a wizard to be able to learn how to use these presentations. They're pretty straightforward. But like we talked about in those use cases, all the way from corporate accounts to local high schools and different sporting groups, we have found a lot of success in different organizations and client types are receiving warmly to these presentations.
Okay. Can upcharge pricing be shown for larger size options?
A lot of times what we see our clients using there are adding that information into the description of the product. So that way you can make the note of, 3XL, 4XL, plus $3, plus $4, whatever those numbers are. So that way you can show it there. It won't show automatically for you on the on that pricing grid that we walked through. But a lot of times our clients find that adding it to the description gets the job done just fine.
Okay. And then can you go back one more slide to, there it is, download the use case ebook. So we got a question of, can you put the QR code to download the information again? And so here it is up on the screen. You can scan that QR code and download the full ebook with all of the information that we covered today, including some other use cases that we did not cover. So it's a really great resource for you to have on hand. So yeah, definitely scan that QR code and download our ebook. Okay, can customers leave feedback directly inside the presentation?
Yep. So that's where those likes, those dislikes, the thumbs up and thumbs down could be that general feedback. And if there's anything else that's more detailed that they'd like to include, and they can leave that as a comment as well at the product level.
Okay. Which use case do you see distributors using most often?
That's a good one, and a lot of it comes down to seasonality, right? And what different clients are busy. They're different busy sides. I've seen a lot of success on the trade show side of things, especially talking about becoming the full scope partner instead of just being viewed as the t-shirt guy or the giveaway girl, whatever it might be. The ability to really show them the full scope within an event. I've seen a lot of our clients have some success in growing their customer base through those types of use cases.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, we are just a little bit over our allotted time today. And so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. But if we didn't get to your question, we will definitely follow up with you in an email. Even if we did get to your question, we still like to follow up and continue the conversation from there. And then also reminder to download that ebook. You can find it on our website as well. We got it on a little slide in on the website, which is pretty cool. So if you go to ordermygear.com, you can download it there. And yeah, we'll follow up with you in an email. So thank you so much today, John, for giving our presentation. And thank you, everybody, for taking the time to join us and to get more information about presentations. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.